everybody. Nile Gardiner joins us now. He's the director of the Heritage Foundation's Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom. Your reaction to this vote, and particularly because you're usually in the U.S. when we speak, what does this mean for the U.K.'s place in the world, do you think?
Well, I think firstly, it's looking like an extremely good night for the Conservatives. It's, according to the exit poll, heading for a projected, large-scale win for Boris Johnson. And I think that this is not only good for Brexit and for the United Kingdom, but also for the United States as well. After all, Boris Johnson is a very pro-American politician. Jeremy Corbyn was deeply anti-American in his election campaign. So I think there'll be a great deal of relief in the United States with regard to the projected results.
We haven't seen a Donald Trump tweet yet.
Not yet, but I would expect he will be tweeting probably a bit later on.
Yeah.
But I think that overall this is a great result, if indeed the exit poll is accurate, a great result for the U.S.-U.K. special relationship. And I think you're going to see the United States and Great Britain moving forward in terms of advancing that alliance, cooperating on a U.S.-U.K. free trade deal.
They've always had a good relationship, and a trade deal takes years, as you know. This isn't something that can be
I think it could well be implemented actually in 2020, and certainly I think that British politicians and U.S. politicians will be keen to move forward as swiftly as possible actually in the coming months.
During the transition period?
Yes, absolutely, during the transition.
That would be record-setting.
Well, I think that there's tremendous political momentum actually in the United States for a free trade agreement. And the British government will want to move forward on this as quickly as possible.
Julia.
I mean, the United States is so important for the UK. If we take the EU nations individually, then the United States is the country's largest trading partner. It's around 15% of trade here. Now, how well do you think that negotiation is going to do? Because behind Brexit, the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, is a primary concern. And we've all debated and talked about what the entry of the United States and the pharmaceutical companies would potentially mean for the NHS in the UK. What happens and what are your expectations with regards to the demands that the United States would make in order to sign a bigger trade deal with the UK? Because the United States has the advantage, and President Trump likes to use that advantage.
Well, I think firstly there isn't a great deal of US interest actually in the National Health Service. So I don't think the US companies are actually queuing up actually to get involved with the NHS. And I think secondly, the president has made it very, very clear that he's actually not interested at all in involving the National Health Service in US-UK trade negotiations. And so I would expect the NHS not even to be a factor at all in US-UK trade discussions. And I expect that President Trump will want to get a deal, perhaps a streamlined deal, through as quickly as possible in order to move forward on this. And certainly I think that President Trump sees a trade deal with the United Kingdom as a winner for the United States, as a job creator for US workers. And I think the momentum is very much in place on both sides of the Atlantic. And I expect that we will see a trade deal implemented in the course of 2020.
All right. Well, we'll hold you to that prediction. Although the biggest trading partner as an entity is the EU. So that's going to be the most important discussion, I'm sure.
Well, I think certainly the EU discussions will be very lengthy, and no doubt they will be tough. But I'm sure the EU will want to do a deal as quickly as possible with the United Kingdom as well.
All right. Thank you very much for that.